This is going to be about getting around in your computer. It is going to cover a lot of basic operations, such as scrolling, enlarging, shifting between programs, the mouse wheel, fast scrolling, and how to put links into your documents, your emails, or your Word documents. I may add more items to this list as we go along, but let's start with what we have. Let's talk about scrolling. Everyone knows how to scroll, right? Well, maybe not everybody knows how to scroll in all the ways that there are to scroll. So maybe even I don't. Let's see. If I go over here to a website that is on the internet, which I'm showing in my Firefox browser, it is obviously, since it starts out with B, basic computer processes, and goes down to C, there's probably A above that. So you can scroll up to A by grabbing the scroll bar on the right-hand side and pushing up, or by clicking and holding the top arrow on the scroll bar, or the bottom arrow on the scroll bar, which is a little hard to grab hold of. And that's one way to scroll. Well, there's another way. If you have a mouse wheel and you run your mouse wheel downward, you can scroll that way. If you run it upward, you can scroll that way. You can also use your up and down arrows and your page up and down to scroll. But in order to do that, you have to have your cursor somewhere inside the document. Just click there. Your cursor shows up here. And now I can use my down arrow or my page down to move up and down, or page up, to move up and down in the document. So we've talked about scrolling using the scroll bar on the right-hand side of your screen. We've talked about scrolling using the mouse wheel. And to do that, we shifted between programs a couple of times. Well, how do you do that? If you have more than one program running, and I do, I have File Explorer running here in Windows 10. I have Word running here in Windows 10, the outline for this discussion. I have Excel running, an old media list and contact form that I use for singing Valentine's out in Hawaii. And I have my browser running, which currently has my mini seminars on it. And of course, I have Camtasia Studio running, which is what I'm recording this mini seminar on. So how do I get back and forth between those various places? Well, you hold your Alt key down and you type the Tab key. When you hold the Tab key down, it keeps moving back and forth. See, if I hold it down, it just keeps going right, left, all the way around. But if I tap it once, it goes from the one where I am right now, where the white circle is, to the next one, which is Camtasia Studio, to the next one, which is my File Explorer running, to the next one, which is Firefox. And when I get to one that I want to change to, I lift up the Alt key and it jumps there. Now I hold the Alt key down and tap it again, and it'll go back to where I was. Now each time I hold the Alt key down and tap it, it goes back and forth. Alt, Tab. You can, of course, shift between programs using the taskbar. You're here at a Word program, and if you want to go over to your open Excel program, you hover over the Excel icon in your taskbar, and then you move your mouse up over what shows up above it. And if you click there, then you are moved to your to the Excel program that you have open. You want to shift to your Firefox program that's open, you click on the MIDI window that comes up or above it, and you go to that program. If you want, there's another way that's unique to Windows 10. In Windows 10, you can bring up all the programs that are running at once in two ways. One is by holding down the Windows key, which I'm now doing, and then typing the Tab key just once. And all the programs that are now running on your computer are thumbnails of them are put on your screen at once. If you want to go to a different one, you can use your arrow keys to go from where you were, where you came from, to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. And if that's the one that you want to open, you then type the space bar, and it brings you to that program that is open. There is another way to get to the new Windows 10 display of the thumbnails of all the programs that are running, and that is to go down here to your Task View icon, just one to the right of your search box or your search icon. If you click there on the Task View icon, you will get the same result as typing your Windows key and the Tab key. And once again, you can move around with your arrow keys and select one with your space bar. Now let's talk about fast scrolling. This is a special way to use your mouse wheel. Let's go to my Firefox listing of many seminars. And as I showed you before, you can go up and down using the mouse wheel just by rolling it. But what if you hold it in a place where you can see where the cursor is, right here, and you press down on the mouse wheel and then let go? Look at what happens. You get this little soccer ball. And look what happens when I go above the soccer ball or below the soccer ball. It scrolls. And if I go above the soccer ball and hold it there, it goes all the way up to the top until it runs into the stops. And if I want to go down to the bottom of this document very rapidly, I drag this down here, and there we are way down at the bottom almost immediately. And if I want, I can go up just as fast. That is, frankly, I don't know what it's called. I call it the soccer ball. You notice there's a little arrow below the black dot in the center, and there's another little arrow above. If this particular document was so wide that it had to have a scroll bar on the bottom to move right and left, just as it does on the side, then there would be two more arrows, one here, right, and one left. Let me show you how that works. If I hold down the Control key and run my mouse wheel, oops, I think not. I think I have to get rid of this soccer ball first. And the way you do that is to left click anywhere on the page and it disappears. Now if I hold down the Control key and run my mouse upward, I get very large type. and I now have a right-left scroll bar on the bottom, as well as my up-down scroll bar on the side. So if I put my mouse here and press down on it, I now get the four-sided soccer ball. Left, right, up, down, and left click to get rid of it. Now let's talk about how to put links into a document. Into an email, perhaps, a link that you can notice because it's usually blue and it's usually underlined, and if you click on it anywhere in the words that are blue and underlined, you will go directly to that place on the internet, if it is really a link to a site on the internet. So, how do we do that? Well, let's show you. Supposing we want to put a link to something that is Windows 10 ways to shift between programs. That's what I just showed you a little while ago. Ways to shift between programs in Windows 10. Well, how do I make a link that would get there? First thing you do is I go to Google, which is where I find interesting things. And here I have W10 shift between programs. And I'm going to make a new tab to get to that and click the search icon, and here I have Windows 10 tip. Switch between open apps and desktops in Windows 10. And if I left click on that, it will bring up a discussion of how to do that. Talks about Alt tab and it talks about the Windows key tab. And that's where I learned how to do what I told you just a little while ago. Well, where is that? It's up here. It's in this website right there. And if I left click just to the right of that, that will be highlighted. If I now hold down the Control key and type C, I have now put this whole thing on the clipboard. Now if I go back over to the document I was working on, and I highlight this whole thing right here, and then I come up to the top and go to Insert, you will see that there's something that says Hyperlink. If I click on that, it will bring up a window that allows me to put that address that I just copied onto my clipboard by typing Control and V as the link to this title. And if I now hold the Control key, in Word you have to hold the Control key down and then click on it. And if I do, it will take me to my open Firefox browser. If Firefox weren't open, it would have taken me there anyway, and it brings up that website. You can insert links in an email in a very similar way. I'll show you in both AOL, which I use, and in Gmail, which lots and lots of people use. In AOL, when you go to compose an email, you can type in the place that you want, the phrase that you want to use to go to your link. Windows 10 shift between programs, and then you can slide your mouse across it to highlight that entire text, And over here at the top of the email text, you have something that looks like a link and says link when you hover over it. When you click on that, the thing that is still on my clipboard, I can put here by typing Control V. And now once again, I have a highlighted, I have an underlined and blue. It's actually red because I've been there once already, so it knows that I've been there recently. And it changes it from blue to red. If I go to Gmail and I go to Compose and I want to put a link in, I look down at the bottom of the Compose window and I see something else that looks like a chain link, and it says Insert Link. And when I do that, I can do the same thing. W10 Shift Programs, and to what URL should this go? Control V. There is the thing that is still on my clipboard, and when I click OK, I now have a link in my outgoing Gmail that will do the same thing it did in AOL or in Microsoft Word. There is one more thing I want to talk about concerning getting around in your computer, and that is the program File Explorer. It used to be called Windows Explorer, but now that I'm in Windows 10, it's called File Explorer. And that is the program that you get to either in your Start menu, or as I have it down here on my taskbar, the program that shows a bunch of little files sitting on a desk. And that looks like this when you open it. You end up, in this case, in my Documents Often Used folder. You see how my computer is organized. Things about my family, things about computers, things about all sorts of stuff that I hopefully have well organized so that I can find them. There is a mini seminar on that subject in my list of mini seminars, which you can get to either by going to Hank's Mini Seminars and Tutorials in Google, or by going to the Seniors Computer Group website and in Resources going to Hank's Mini Seminars and Tutorials. And that program about how to use File Explorer, although it was called Windows Explorer when I made this mini seminar, that is a 40-minute long program, and you get to it by clicking Organize over here on the right. That is mini seminar number B10, Getting Your Computer Organized. There is one more on that list called How to Get Stuff Done, and that one is B13. If you are trying to figure out whether you are doing most of the things and know how to do most of the things that help you get things done in your computer, if you're working toward that end, you should watch this one and B10 and B13. I hope this has been useful to you.